My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And today we want to talk about something near and dear to my heart specifically, but I think to many others as well. And that is the concept of a Zen television show. Now, that's not its official name because it's under the umbrella of variety shows, but how we've chosen to define it are Zen shows are reality shows that have absolutely no drama and no stakes whatsoever, which means that they're very pleasant to watch and just make you feel good about yourself and others. But before we talk about that, what's everyone been watching this week?
What am I watching? I started Clean with Passion for now.
Do you like it?
I like it. I think I like
cute.
it. See how it goes. It's weird. Like Vicky added all this drama fever content, but they're only releasing them like 2 episodes at a time, as if it's like currently airing. So I was like, oh, cool. Really, I'll start. Oh, okay, great.
As if they were subbing it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's because that is the point. They're subbing it, and instead of dumping like 5 whole new shows and then, having their subbers stretch too much, it's, I don't know what the deal is, but
a lot of those already have established subtitles, so it seems like it would be less of a subtitling struggle.
Maybe that's just part of how they got the rights to it. They were like, you have to dump everything. Because I put on My D's Gundam Beauty just like to have in the background the other day, and I was watching the first episode, and there's a point in the episode, if you've watched it, that she dances to New Face, and it's kind of like symbolic because it's all about plastic surgery.
Yeah,
and
she has a new face, literally.
Yeah, she literally has one, but it's not in the Vicky version.
But could that be because New Face was recorded under YG and Psy left, so there might be something weird going on?
I don't know. Well, it's definitely the only song that I've noticed that is out, because that other one, the one that's like the major one, is in it the rest of the episodes.
Yeah,
but
so
also I've noticed, because I knew about it because I saw like an ad on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and it was a little clip, and it was the clip where the one mean girl was like, I like Sprite, and he's like holding the Sprite can. In the episode, they just say soda, or like just a generic word. Sprite is not in there anymore.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Funny. They had to really focus on some of that then.
The Taiwanese dramas always have different music in them.
Well, Netflix is bad for that.
Taiwan has said that they always have different music because like Netflix doesn't want to pay for the
if you
the
watch
rights and stuff.
Like Men on a Mission.
Men on a Mission.
You'll know.
Oh, because
it's pretty terrible.
It's pretty bad because they'll have like idol groups or like singers come in to dance to their own songs, but they just like put over this like real gennaro like techno dance beat,
and you're just like music, and you're like, I could get this for free on my Mac.
Yeah. Like didn't even try.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like,
or they just cut it out entirely. You're like, wait. There's a part missing.
So for the dramas, that actually really, really bothers me, though. I'd at least like them to have a little tag at the front being like, hey, some of the music might be different than originally, just so you know. Like, it would be nice.
I've seen shows that did that before. Like, that have moved tag from... Yeah, they'll have, like, some audio was changed due to licensing, like when they moved between channels. But yeah.
I didn't notice it when I was watching, but I was also, like, I think editing the last week's podcast, too, so... It was just there.
You were just thinking about it.
I also started watching Legal High. And the first week, I was like, no. But I'm going to maybe give it a second shot. By episode 4, I was quite liking it. It's quirky and it's weird. But the things that really bothered me in the first episode are not... She moves offices between the first and second weeks. She switches offices. So the guy in the original Office who was like a super misogynist and like really annoying, he's still in it, but he's not with her every day. He's not her like superior.
He's not up in her biz
and stuff. So he's still annoying, but he's not like bothering her. I'm really hoping that the two leads, they're not building a romance there, because it just doesn't work. It feels weird. Like it's a very like angry, they don't like each other at all, don't get along at all kind of thing. But he's very much mentoring her, even though she doesn't think he is. Like by the third and fourth episode, you start to see these things where it's like he's acting like this big jerk, and she's like, he's so horrible and I hate him. But something in what he said has like sparked a thought in her mind, and she follows that bunny trail, and it helps her win her case or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or she'll get all worked up and then she'll leave, and like this like manservant that he has will be like, I can tell by the way you were talking to her, you're worried about this. Like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm concerned because of this. Like, he just totally switches off and like becomes like a normal person. But like when she's around, he's like crazy. And you're like, don't know what's going on here.
So, like,
but
why?
I really hope it's not
why
a
are you
romance,
doing?
because it's weird. Like he's a weird character, and he's older than her. Like in a way that just doesn't feel like it works.
Yeah.
And then also they've got Yoon Park is on there, and they seem to very much be like they're doing the slip and fall and stuff between her and Yoon Park's character. So I'm like, okay, if there's going to be a romance, can that be the romance, please? Because it feels like it kind of makes sense. Like, also he's pretty, and I like it, and I like his character. Like,
really pretty.
She's been her character has gotten like wicked drunk multiple times, and always somehow falls. Like, he's driving by one time and stops, and she thinks he's her taxi, so she like gets in his car and starts like demanding he drive her home, and he's like, okay.
The old classic drunk shenanigans.
Yeah, like, and she's such a horrible drunk. Like, she's like howling at the moon, and she's insane. She's an insane drunk, and he's still just kind of like looking at her, like rolling his eyes, but also smiling because he thinks she's cute, like, and then he like drops her off to her landlady and's like, here you go, and see you later. And so I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of got a bit of a Chief Kim kind of a vibe to it, of like the crazy weirdo who gets stuff done. Yeah. But he's not quite there. It lacks sort of
the charm.
Fun. Yeah, like it doesn't have the charisma or the charm quite that Chief Kim had. But it's a remake of a Japanese drama, so some of when you know that, some of the like crazy makes more sense, because you're like, okay, it's got that Japanese drama kind of wackiness that they sometimes have in there. But I don't know. I think I like it. I think after 4 episodes, I think I like it. So I'll stick with it.
I just finished watching episode 5 of Touch Your Heart right before we came to record this. Still cute. Cute. Like, the preview for tomorrow's episode looks like a bit of a ooh, like, oh, big case. They're on a big case, But yeah, it continues to just be cute and fluffy, and
other than the stalker that we spoke into being.
Oh no, I know. We're sorry, guys. I guess that's the thing we do.
The thing tomorrow, I think, is related to the case that they're working on in this episode, which is the case that the female prosecutor got about the woman who was her husband. Anyway, so they get put on the case, or because of course they get put on the case. Come on, guys.
Because they're lawyers and
this works.
It has to happen.
But I mean, they also like talked about it for the past 4 episodes, so of course it's going to be a bigger case.
If
they're like so cute though.
They're
very just cute. So.
And I have to say, I really enjoy his character a lot more than hers, because they're both very stupid in very different ways. Like, he's very bad at just people. Like, he's good at legal stuff, but he doesn't get how people work. And so There's like a few moments. I'm really bad at like cringy moments in shows, like, secondhand embarrassment, like, oh, and there were a few moments in this episode that I was just like, ooh.
So look away.
Oh no, like, oh, fast forward a little.
I was
like,
I just finished watching 4, and it was like, she's, when he's got the little cut on his neck, and she's tending it, and she starts blowing on it, and I'm like, dude, you're blowing on his neck. Like,
yeah.
And it's almost like she sort of realizes all of a sudden, I'm blowing on a man's neck. But
Yeah.
maybe not.
And
they're just staring at each other, and you're like, oh, kiss.
Chance turns as his cameo role.
I know. Can't wait.
That was the moment that I was like,
Yeah.
I was like,
I watched Tregman, but I also want to look away. I can't watch this.
Because what I hate about moments like that is like you then think back to moments where you have done something equally as stupid and you're embarrassed all over again. It's like, ugh.
Anybody else watching anything new, like
other
than romance and touch your heart?
We have, minus Amanda, sorry. We've started back on 100 Days My Prince.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
We are finally picking that back up after like 2 months.
We have the last 2 episodes left. Well, what a struggle.
Guys.
What the frustrating part about this drama is the first half of the drama was so good. And then
cute.
Just like the first 10 episodes, yes. These last episodes.
We just didn't even realize it too, because we all dropped it basically because of Drama Fever.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we all dropped it because of where it was going.
No.
And so now we're like realizing that Drama Fever cut it just right before it just goes in a direction, and you're like,
the envoy,
turn too, right? Like,
there's
the envoys. Sweet, it's so great. And then everybody was like, ugh, third charm just, ugh, we hate it. And I was like, what? Like, because I'm still like they're super cute and adorable.
Yeah. No, like,
what you're talking about, guys.
Basically, just the envoys.
You watched it, the envoys.
The envoys. There's like this one episode where all sorts of important shit has been happening, but the entire episode is following him doing basically a pub quiz with this Ming envoy and having to like hunt down his daughter who like ran away to see her boyfriend, but it has nothing to do with anything else happening.
You randomly like keep calling the sun too, and you're like, but what's going on? What is happening in this episode?
Like,
and the episode is an hour and 20 minutes long.
Fucking envoys. And like every time it would like cut away to something, we'd be like, okay, finally, we're done with the envoys. And then it would cut back to more envoys. And we were all in like the group chat like, envoys! No!
And then the credits would happen, and we're watching like the preview, and we're like, okay, I'm glad that we got out of the envoys. And then they bring up the envoys again. You're like, oh!
Nobody cares about the envoys. Like,
journals, the poems, you're like, what's going on?
Who's pregnant with your other wife's brother's baby? Like, like, some of these envoys. I can't.
But we admitted if we had watched it separately, it would have been a tough go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But since we were all watching it together and we had, like, a delightful little group chat going. Like,
thank God for Rabbit.
Like, you can get through anything if you have friends.
Yeah.
It's like, but the worst part is like, the acting is really good, except for the one dude who keeps showing up, the bad governor, whatever. Like, screw him. But besides that, like, the acting is excellent from everyone, and like,
it's a great cast.
It's an amazing cast, and like, if they didn't spend all this time on useless nonsense and just like get the story going,
especially when it's an hour and 20 minutes long. Like, it's a movie about envoys. Come on.
It probably could have easily been like a 12 episode show.
Yeah, very much so.
It's
like,
basically that once they like separated like from the town folk which were really what made the show, was like their interactions like in between each other. Once they separated from that, like it's pointless. And then they also do this thing where they forget that it's like a comedy too. So then they're like, oh, we gotta throw in a line. Oh gosh.
But then it's like, I think after the Envoy episode, the writers realized, oh wait, we need to bring back the townspeople, because they bring back the townspeople to come to the capital to like hunt down the.
They gotta find their BFF.
They gotta find Wandu. They gotta find Wandu. They gotta go talk to him. They gotta tell the Crown Prince that Wandu wasn't a traitor.
But we did come up with a really great spin-off rom-com. So there's that.
Oh, we did come up with an amazing spin-off rom-com. Okay. This is our idea. So the first male lead and the second male lead have a delightful bromance together. But the first male lead, or the second male lead, is the guy who played the con man on Two Cops. So he just has sort of like a good con man feel to him. Like, you know, like.
He has charisma.
He has charisma, like.
An example.
Yeah, you could see him as being a con man. So, like, the show would be him and the prince, like, wandering around doing shenanigans through Jose on Air, like a Jose on Air sitcom of, like, you know, he'd be, like, the comedy half, like, doing the, you know, like, the shenanigans. And then the prince, or, you know, Kyung-soo, would be the straight man foil, who's constantly sort of the recipient of the shenanigans, of like the bad parts of the shenanigans that he himself has not participated in until that moment.
And then he would always still say that he's uncomfortable.
Yeah, always just uncomfortable at all times. So, what we even had like a name. It was like
Did
the
we?
Prince, the Governor and Prince, like back in action. It was like really stupid. We needed to fill the time when all the envoys.
It would be the time that, like, if we were alone, we'd just be fast forwarding through. Right. But like the three of us are like, okay, we gotta stick through this.
Like, oh, I know you've lost your memory, but the envoy from Ming is coming, and he's going to quiz you, and you'll have to like. I'm just like, oh my god, no. And then we had a whole like, I'm like, they're gonna do a pub quiz, like for some reason, like, why did they care if this ambassador cares how smart how good this guy is, and he's like, and it was never actually made clear why this was important at all.
No,
I don't think it was. I'm just gonna.
This would be like a filler episode in like a normal Western TV. Like it'd just be like, you know, like half the writers are gone on vacation, and they're just like they needed something. Strike. They don't want to do like a big thing, and they're waiting till like next week when it's like sweeps. So they're like, okay,
right,
before we be boring.
Yeah. On point.
I've been watching some other stuff. The Fiery Priest, which I am digging.
Yeah.
Surprisingly so. I didn't know it was going to be that funny, but it's pretty funny.
That's on my list to watch.
But, warning, it's not always funny.
Oh, it's okay.
Like, all of a sudden you get into his backstory of why he's so angry, and there's a lot of sad there. So, I mean, it's kind of all of a sudden it's like, boom, you're hit with sad or shocking. So it's not all light. To me, it reminds me a lot of Lawless Lawyer as far as the feel, and then even some of the fight stuff. If all of a sudden you have flames coming from your fist, it's silly. Like, there's just some silly stuff going on.
Wait, does he have like magical powers, or is it just for?
No, they're just making it
dramatic purposes. Okay.
Yeah, they're just being silly. So it's not like he called down fire from heaven and he actually.
Okay, like I was like from like what I had seen, it didn't seem like that kind of drama.
And then
stop me, but
that was kind of the main cartoony thing I saw. And then one other fight, all of a sudden he punched somebody, and you see the blood coming from his nose in slow motion for quite some time. Like, it was really cartoony and ridiculous. So it's pretty funny. Honey Lee, her character so far is really not that likable, which I imagine will change. But I mean, she's doing well.
Maybe she doesn't need to be likable.
Maybe. I think
as a priest, they don't need to have a romance.
It's true.
No. Well, they've already kind of flirted, so whatever.
He's a
But-
priest. He's not dead. He could always leave the priest.
Yeah, she's always talking about like he's pretty handsome, like in her thoughts
Yeah.
and stuff. Pretty funny. But the two other main characters, I think they're all gonna like end up being friends somehow, but at the moment they kind of all hate each other's guts. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. It's not obvious right now, I can tell you that. The light in your eyes, or radiant, or whatever they want to call it right now, that was actually really good.
That was a weird one. Like, so many people are going, like, how come nobody's watching this? And it's like, because nobody could find it, because nobody knew it was on Viki, because it had a completely different
name.
Right.
Because somebody recommended it to me, and I was like, oh, is it on Viki? And they're like, no. And I was like, well, then where am I going to watch it? And then I was like, yep, here it is right here.
And I hear Nam Joo Hyuk has learned to act.
I think he's doing well. Like, there was some crying. There was some, I don't know. I thought he did really well.
Maybe he just works really well with some people, and then others he just can't do it.
Maybe he's one of those actors that's wholly dependent on everyone around him.
It might be.
The better
He
the
feeds off
acting
of it.
is around him, the less obvious it is that he's not as good. Like, that could
Also,
be...
what he chooses to do, like what he is cast in, right? So, like, I mean, he was pretty good in Weightlifting Fairy. We know now that part of that was that he actually was falling in love with the actress, so, like, it was easier to play that. But, I mean, he did good job with the scenes with, like, the mom and the adopted parents and stuff, too. So, I think, I mean, there's growth there, but it's also having a director who knows how to get what they want out of somebody as well, and be willing to be patient and work with them to get there.
Yeah. I thought he was pretty golden. I mean, honestly, his character is way more serious than the lead female character. She gets a lot of comedy too. He really doesn't so far as much. His role is a lot more weighty, in my opinion. He has to deal with a lot of crud. So, yeah, I think he's pulling it off really well. I think that it's not just about the leads. It's a lot about their little community around them too. Kind of interesting.
Is it is it another found family for us? So
do we all have to watch it?
You don't know yet?
I'm not sure it's really found family because her family itself is really involved. Like, it's all about
like
her,
a real
parents,
family.
Her parents, and then the guy from Coffee Friends is her brother, the barista from Coffee Friends, Ho-jun. Son Ho-jun.
The guy who was also in Terrius.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much
face.
He's pretty much the comedic foil of everybody. He is still super active. He's awesome.
Just as a person. I
Oh
like
yeah.
him. He's so he's so awkward, but we'll talk about that later. 'Cause we're gonna talk about it.
So I like the show so far. To me, it's already gone just within the first 2 episodes. I wonder where they'll go next because they've already covered a lot of ground.
Okay.
Like, I really don't know. They got that far and you're like, well, shoot, I don't know what else is going to happen at this point. So it's a pretty big deal. And then Hachi, I haven't gotten much further. So
Still working on it. I haven't been watching too much. I just was watching my usual variety shows. I think I've been a little bummed because I've been all alone at Casa del Natalia since my husband went on a 6-week business trip. So I've been kind of like...
Yeah, work has been tough. And then we've been watching 100 Days My Prince, so that's basically like the only thing I can get in after work. I only have like a couple hours before I'm like, I should actually try to go to bed.
So I don't want to murder anybody tomorrow. Yeah.
Bed.
I still might, but clean it
I'm still
up.
debating about whether I'm going to keep going with Last Empress or not. I stopped at 36 and I haven't pushed through. But like now with everybody like talking about it ending this week, that
I'll just tell you what it is.
I kind of want to know. I want to see what happens. I want to see where it goes. People are really freaked out that
I was waiting
not in the last week. People are really upset about it, but I'm like, he wasn't in the first week either. So like, it's like
bookending it. You're fine.
It's not like a surprise. You're not like, oh no, he's not here anymore.
I've been waiting for the show to end so I can just binge it all over the weekend. Just like binge it all on a weekend and just like boom, 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 get it all. Just let it wash, let the insanity wash over me. Like,
is that going to be healthy? Is that going to be a good bingeable show?
Part of the fun. You can join me. We'll do it on Rabbit.
I don't know. That's a level of.
Maybe I'll just wait until you like get to 36, 37, and then I'll like join you then.
I'll message you and be like, we're here.
Yeah, you might be doing that by yourself. I don't know. We'll see.
Yes,
So we're gonna play a game.
Yes, let's play a game.
It was Amanda's idea, so Amanda gets to explain it.
Well, I had sort of two ideas. The one idea was, create your own like variety show, Zen variety show, or, reality variety show, whatever we want to call this. Just based on like, what would you like to see? What would be a scenario or something that you'd like to see? Or could be combined with what is like a celebrity couple that you would like to see do something like Hyori's Homestay, or, or coffee friends, like a bromance or a friendship that you'd like to see do one. Because when I was watching, I'm watching Hyori, I'm watching Coffee Friends, I'm watching these things, and it occurred to me, if Lee Ki-woo and Lee Chung-ah, I don't even know if they're still dating or not. I think they are. But if they ever actually, tie the knot, make things happen, I would die if they did like a real Flower Boy ramen shop. Like, run a ramen shop and have cute actors that they know come help them in the ramen shop, and they just run really a little ramen shop, like they're doing Coffee Friends. They do like a little learn how to make ramen, and they learn how to actually run a ramen shop, and just do that for, just obviously not like start a business for the rest of your lives, but just, I think it'd be funny. Like maybe take over like Sungri's like ramen shop for, a month or something, and do their own like real life Flower Boy ramen shop.
I'd watch it.
Hilarious. I would totally watch it. So.
Okay. What if we had a show that was Jisoo running a matchmaking agency?
Would anybody go to it?
What?
Those who can't do teach.
Exactly.
Those who can't do teach.
Interesting. You see that leads you to believe he would be good at this, other than the fact that he never.
I just think it would be funny. Well, he seems like a nice enough guy. I'm sure he can,
Would his best buddy help him?
You mean Nam Joo-hyuk? Yeah, of course. I was thinking sort of like another thing would be just like a buddy, like sort of a Coffee Prince setup, but with just the two of them, like doing like a, I don't know, bakery or some nonsense, like a juice stand, a smoothie shop,
with matchmaking on the side.
It could be like a it could be like a pie and ice cream shop called The Perfect Match. That'd be cute.
Yeah. And they do like speed dating setup nights or something in the shop.
In their pie and ice cream shop.
And literally all the girls are completely ignoring all the guys in the shop because they're just like touchy doing
that's part of fun.
I don't know. I think it might be fun. I don't know how calming this would be, but if there was a show that was idols or celebrities being dog walkers, and so they just take some random person's or they could like pet sit too, like it could be anything, just dealing with animals. But like every episode is a different one that they are going to someone else's house. Maybe it's like not even a celebrity's house. It's like someone from
they don't realize that this is a show.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like...
And they don't know that, like...
It seems like it's just a regular dog walking thing.
Oh, yeah, it's just like this, pet sitter service, and they're like, okay, we're going to send out our person, and then it's some random idol. And it'd be really fun, because they'd obviously get all the idols who don't have animals. So, like, like, someone who's never walked a dog before, and just, like, the crazy antics of that.
Like, every time I'm watching one of those, like, idol-specific ones, and they end up, like, working at, like, a dog daycare or something, it's always the best episode. Like, yes.
Yes.
I'd watch it.
I think like a vacation show without a goal end in mind would be nice too.
That was obviously the ramen shop that Lee Ki-woo and Chung Ao would be running would be on like Jeju or somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere nice.
Busan or somewhere that they have like he's always going off surfing. So like somewhere where they can obviously have like surf shots of him, going out in the morning, and just like Hyori goes out and does her yoga.
I see what you're about.
There's a whole wetsuit. It's
where's a wetsuit? Sure thing. I saw the look in your eyes just then.
Oh,
wetsuit. One of those ones that they unzip and just wear around the waist. Like, that's, yeah.
I may have seen Instagram shots like that. It's
well, like, just saying. No shame in the game. You know what I mean.
I think I'd like to see, all of these idol groups, they'll always have kind of these excursions, and they'll be doing, they're always busy. Like, even when they're on quote-unquote vacation, when they're doing their little content things for their fans, they're always busy doing all these games and stuff. But if there was, be it a ski resort or somewhere on the beach or something, that actually forced them to not do anything. Like,
so what you want is another season of It's Dangerous Beyond the Blanket.
But force people that are outside of nobodies, like people that are not used.
Just regular people,
like the
idols.
Yes,
the idols
like,
that are so busy and making them be unbusy.
The workaholics.
Go nuts, not doing stuff.
So basically what we're saying is,
no writing.
You want to send Kim Won-hee on a vacation.
Kim Won-hee, In-woo, all of the busy people, force them to do nothing.
Yeah.
Together.
Force them.
Together.
Go to sleep for 9 hours. You deserve it.
You will sleep. You will not even cook. Someone will cook for you. You sit. You be. That is all you get to do.
Read that book. You guys are going to just read the book. That's it. Just lie by the beach and read a book. Not a real.
You're like sort of like a self-aware Truman Show is what you want.
They'll all like gather around to watch a specific drama.
You will relax and you will like it.
All right.
Or actually, I just remembered someone had mentioned Kim Won-hee being Mr. Rogers. I'm cool with that.
Oh, cool. Yes. Yes.
We talked about that.
Who mentioned that? Because that's genius.
His like celebrity friends would play like the milkman and the post office.
Yes.
Then all those things.
Idea. We should write to his agency right now. We'll be like, it'd be really popular with like
everyone,
American women for some strange reason.
At least our Twitter.
A children's show starring Kim Won-hee that we get to enjoy. It's not for children. It's for us. We all love him for some reason that we can't really explain. We're all into this middle-aged Korean man.
Oh. The fact that he's in Fiery Priest, and I'm like, oh, I'm so down. I'm going to watch this till the end. I need to see why his name is Vladimir. This is important.
Because he's Russian.
Of course.
Obviously.
No, because there's a lot of people who live in Russia that are of Asian descent.
They're near each other.
Yeah, because they connect. So it's not possible. That out there.
So we're going to talk about the shows we watch now?
Yes. So we're talking about Zen television, and we have sort of 3 shows that either we've all seen or most of us have seen, which were Coffee Friends, which is currently airing, Hyori's Bed and Breakfast, which is on Netflix, and It's Dangerous Beyond the Blankets, which is on Viki and Kokowa.
And Little House on the Fourth.
House.
Oh yeah, and Little House on the Fourth. I guess there were 4 of them, which is also on Viki, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Zen shows are kind of interesting because they don't really have any stakes,
No competition.
No competitions. And a lot of them don't really have much of a goal. Like there's no real, like with Coffee Friends, slightly different, but they don't really have a goal in mind that needs to be accomplished in the show. So it's not like a variety show, like a game show or, you know, like a competition in any way. It's just sort of people existing and doing things together.
Well, like even Coffee Friends, you know, they're running this coffee shop for charity, and it's kind of neat. And you don't, you know, you go in and you order what you want, you eat what you want, and then you pay what you want because it's for charity. So make your donation or whatever. But they don't even have like a goal in mind. There's not like we have to hit like $50,000 or you know, anything like that.
Their goal is to serve delicious food.
Exactly.
And
like
sell tangerines.
The biggest competition is like, boy, I haven't sold any bread yet today. Nobody's buying the French toast. How can we get people to buy the French toast?
Yeah.
Like,
well, except that never actually happens because
we want to do this. We want people to taste our good food, and we want people to. We made all this tangerine tea, and it's too hot out. And nobody wants tea. Hey, what if we make it into like a tangerine aid or whatever? And it's adorable.
What's also nice about it is like, it's just so positive all the time. Like I find like with Western reality shows, like if we're defining these as sort of reality shows, it's all about conflict. So it's all about creating like a sense of drama, because I feel like Western shows think that there needs to be some sort of conflict to keep people interested. However, with these sorts of shows, we're interested in the mundane. It's like, it's sort of focusing on the beauty in like the simplicity of just existing rather than needing to be like the struggle of survival or anything.
Yeah.
What I like is there's no like plot or anything going on, that I can like put it on while I'm doing something else, and I can look up, and if I miss something, it's fine because I didn't miss a plot point. I just missed, you know, some customer talking about something they did yesterday or whatever. Like, or it's like the worst thing that happens on Coffee Friends is like the orders get backed up for 10 minutes. Yeah. but then they like pull it around and everyone gets their food and is fine. Like that's how every situation ends on Coffee Friends, is that everyone is fine at the end of the day. And then they all hug and go, what a great day this was. And they sit down and count their money for charity and go, oh, the charity's getting so much money today. Oh, I feel so good. Everyone liked our food. Let's all drink like the remaining coffee and go home. Like that's as stressful as it gets. The most drama in Coffee Friends is when these families come in and the kids and the wives are like, wow, the staff here is very attractive. And the dads are like, hey, look at me, eyes up front, woman, you know. And she's like, I'm sorry, but like, Sejong. Like, like, he's right there.
I just saw an episode of Coffee Friends where the mom asked the little girl, like, I think it was versus your dad or the barista guy. And immediately the daughter was like, my dad. And then, so her dad, like, totally melts, and he just loved that compliment, because, of course,
There's so many cute babies on that show, it's not even funny. So many cute babies. Unreal.
What I also like about those shows is, they also kind of almost give the cameramen, like, some play, because, you know, especially in Coffee Friends, where they have, like, they can set up these shots where they're very artistic and simple, and it's literally just someone stirring the like lemon custard or whatever, you know, and it's beautiful, this like really like great little thing, and it's about like almost nothing. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like even
Very
throwaway
pretty.
shots you would think. It's just like, but
I-
it's
what
really
I-
nice, and they take the time to do it, and they hold for longer than you would expect from like another variety show, which would be like super fast and super cut it. Like that's just
What I
not
kind
it.
of like about these shows too, a lot of these ones like Coffee Friends, Hyori's Homestay, actually all four of the ones that we're talking about, is that when it's actually like inside the cafe or inside the house or whatever, there aren't cameramen.
Yeah, it's non-intrusive.
They've set up like hundreds of cameras just hidden everywhere, so they capture everything. And then like, so these beautiful shots would be done like post or pre whatever, but they're gorgeous food photography on Coffee Friends. But like,
there's great food, like too, like just I like that. That's part of it. They're discussing like when I was watching Hyori and he's like making kimchi stew, and they're like, he puts the oil in the pot, and now he's like frying up the kimchi. Now he adds the tuna, add some water, add a little sugar to take away the sour, and it's done. Time to call Hyori in for lunch. And you're like, what am I watching?
I love Hyori's Homestay. Nice. I love it so much because I told you guys this, but now I'm telling the internet this. Lee Hyori and her husband are basically the successful hot versions of me and my husband, because we have exactly the same personalities. Like, it's not even funny. Like, I will literally go out to yoga and come home, and my husband will get home from doing legitimate work, and I'll be like, oh, can you do this and this and this and this? And then I'll go take a nap. And that literally happens on the show. We're kind of monsters, but in a loving way. Like, I just love them. And they're adorable dogs. And they're cats.
There are 5 dogs and 3 cats.
They're fabulous life, just like living minimally.
And it's so super peaceful too. They do a lot of like drone shots, and like you can just see it's just this very secluded place, and like it's the type of place you literally just go out and sit on the porch and just like fall asleep. And then they do that. Like IU does that all the time, because they have celebrities who come in as their helper for this bed and breakfast, and IU's in the first season. And like some of the interactions they have with IU are like actually really nice. Because like you start to get like kind of a different side of her, like than you would see in any other thing, and she's kind of like getting more relaxed and letting go, and especially because she's being forced to talk to completely different people.
Yeah.
Like there's that one episode where I think it's like the first episode that she is actually working there with the girls. Like there's like a couple, like 4 girls who are best friends, super outgoing, super friendly. And they, like, it's obvious that they do these kind of like, they'll stay in, bed and breakfasts or like hostels, and that's just their thing. And there's a point at like IU and one of the girls is like sitting there doing dishes, and she's like, IU's just dumbfounded that like people would be nice to like talk to, and it's just easy to talk to. And they're like, that's just who we are. And it's like, it's one of those kind of bittersweet things, because you see it and you're like, oh, that's really sweet that she's bonding with people who are actually her age, but also she doesn't get that. She doesn't have that life. Yeah. So it's like it's a nice little kind of juxtaposition of like seeing that.
The other thing I like about it is like you get a real cross section of different people living their lives that come into the house. Like they're from like, there's an older couple, there's a group of siblings, there's some professional explorers, which they're fun, who just want to go like explore Jeju. Like that's what they do for a living. They go and explore places, which is pretty great. Cool. And then like, and then she holds, then they'll have like their, like 4 college guys who are about to go into the military. So they came for their last like whatever. And then they just do yoga in the yard and have a campfire and eat sweet potatoes and chill out with the dogs. It's wonderful. Like, and then everyone just chats and becomes friends. And
I know, I totally now, after watching these episodes, it's like, okay, I have to take a vacation in Jeju.
Oh my God, it's like the prettiest place in the world. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Like,
So
girls trip to
I need to go to
No.
Hyori's, and then I have to go have some coffee at the coffee friends. Like, you know, yes.
It just looks one. Go
Yes.
pick some tangerines.
Yeah.
Go climb the mountain.
Like,
go
keep telling them, they're like,
in.
you can go out and pick the tangerines. And the one time, the first time they tell, it's like a table full of like what appear to be single young women, and they're like all sitting there like, sure, we're gonna go outside where you boys are not and pick some
tangerines. Okay, we'll get right on that.
It's kind of almost like going to your like aunt and uncle's house. Like that's how they are. They're like, oh no, you can go do stuff, and we'll just like sit here and do everything.
And they're just like, no,
like,
no. And then when we get into something like it's dangerous beyond the blankets, where it's taken the concept of any stakes and just got rid of them all. Because, like, you know, on Hyori's bed and breakfast, like, there's, like, in one episode, like, a pipe bursts. So, like, the kitchen's flooded. So it's, like, a big... So there's, like, tiny stakes. But, like, they fix it. So it's not like someone did it on purpose. It was, like, it just happened. And then, like, you know, on Coffee Friends, like, they'll... You know, the orders will get backed up, or someone
the juicer dies.
Yeah, the juicer dies, or you know, they run out of bread, and like so, like they're things that get solved. But in It's Dangerous Beyond the Blankets, they don't ever get to that point. Where something needs to be solved. They're just there to take naps.
No, I think it's reversed. I think the entire point of It's Dangerous Beyond the Blankets is taking people who are already homebodies, and some of them are not used to hanging out with other people very much. Mm-hmm. And it's forcing them to hang out with strangers.
Yes.
And like
that's
in a very low stakes environment. So it's like
that's the stake for them. Some of them are like really freaked out by that.
Yeah.
Like they have to grow a little bit in order to say hi.
The episode that always makes me laugh is the one where it's Minho and the 3 Minsuks. Where all 3 of them, it's like the actor Minsuk from EXO, and then there's a speed skater who's like an Olympic medalist who's also named his Minsuk, and then they think like, is there gonna be like, and those 3 arrive first, and then they're like, oh, there's a 4th person coming, and they're like, is it gonna be another like Minsuk? But then it's Mino from Winner. So Mino's kind of like, so every time he's like, hey, Minsuk, they're all 3 of them are like, yeah. And then they go like fishing, and then they play soccer, and then video games, and eat ramen, and then nap, and that's the whole show. And it's like, and then when I try to explain this to people who don't already like watch these types of shows, they look at me like I'm crazy. Like, why would this possibly be interesting or like enjoyable to watch? Like, you're literally watching some dude nap. Like, but there's just something about it that just sort of speaks to you on a human level.
Yeah.
And you just can't stop yourself from watching them.
It's kind of almost like you're conditioned because of Western kind of variety shows or reality shows where you're just now expected, if you see that kind of reality, it has to be heightened and it has to be faked. Not to say that like a lot of this isn't fake, but like, you know, faked where like, you know, people are fighting with each other or that sort of thing, and you just are programmed to expect it. And then when it doesn't happen, it's not even like that it's weird, it's just weird in the concept of like what you know. So then you're like, but wait a minute, but that's all they do? Like,
well,
they
even with
just make some
Korean variety shows, they're so you know, like they can't just interview the stars, they have to like start smacking people on the heads with things, and like, you know, there's always something wacky is gonna happen. You're kind of like waiting for the wacky, like you're waiting for the doorbell to ring, and it's like, you know, a clown coming to like
shenanigans begin.
And tons of graphics on the screen and writing, and
it's just there's no shenanigans. It's all just
hang out and do your thing.
And I find it's like really nice. Like I have pretty bad anxiety, and watching these shows really helps. Like in a weird way. And they're great to watch when you're like, wow, the world kind of sucks. And then you like watch and you're like, the world's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just a small percentage of the world that sucks.
Enjoy the simple things.
Yeah, this is nice.
One thing that I really liked in Little House in the Forest that was not in Hyori or Coffee Friends, but I really wished they did have, was in Little House, it's almost like a nature documentary or something. Like they've got a narrator who's like, the other two have sort of a visual narration going on. Like there's sort of subtitles of like, oh, and now he's making this or whatever. But in Little House in the Forest, they have an actual narrator with that like that calm nature documentary, quiet narrating voice that's very soft and like. And I would love, especially Hyori being on Netflix. I would love if Netflix had dubbed over it in English with like somebody with a voice like that, so that I could be completely just like totally stoned out and like just sitting on the couch like passed out listening.
You want someone with like yoga teacher voice to be
like that. And it was funny because I was thinking that before I watched Little House in the Forest, and then when Little House in the Forest started up, and it started, I mean, he's narrating in Korean, but like he's going, and you're just like, that's it, that's the voice, that's what I want. I want that like nature documentary, soft and
that's all I've ever wanted.
Just to tell me what's going on. What is he making right now? Hyori's taking a nap with the dog.
That's like a very common occurrence on that show. Well, like what I find really interesting, and why what's his name? I always forget what her husband's name is. But why he reminds me of my husband so much is it's not like she's like, "Kay, do this. I'm going to go take a nap." He's like, "Why? You should go take a nap. You look tired. Go take a nap." Like, and my husband does that too, despite the fact that he knows full well I have been napping all day. He tells me to go take another one. So it's like, oh.
It's sang soon. He sang soon.
Thank you.
He's also like, he'll go like put a record on the record player and then just like go sit outside and just like, he's very quiet, but he'll still like be engaged with everyone. Just takes it all in. Like, I just want to sit down on the porch with you. Just hang out. That's what I want to do right now.
I thought Little House in the Forest was pretty interesting, the way it forces minimalism on the two people that are participating in it, which is pretty funny, I think, at least for, I can't think of her name. Shinhei? Isn't that? Yeah. So she brought all this stuff.
So much
she
stuff.
She was trying to be prepared, like a lot of food stuff, like,
that's true.
Which,
but
I mean, you can't blame her. She had no clue what she was going to be up to.
She's bringing like 15 bags over, and then she's like, it's 2 nights and 3 days. What am I doing?
And then they force her to get rid of most of it.
Yeah, goof.
And then he doesn't really care. He's like, okay, whatever. I barely brought it in the first place. He's way chill about it, and she's kind of like, I don't want to get rid of my stuff. So, I mean, there's some comedy there.
I only made it up to that part, and then I had to go do some other stuff, and it was like, and she's like, can I, instead of getting rid of, 10 things, can I get rid of parts of 10 things? Like, can I squish half the moisturizer out of the bottle? Does that count? Like, and you're like, no, dude, that doesn't count. Like,
she had to get rid of so much stuff.
Well, she took so much stuff. It was crazy.
It was so funny.
Dragging it all from the car, and they make a big deal about her dragging it from the car. But I'm like, the car is like as far away as like, I don't know, my next door neighbor's driveway is. So I'm like, it's not that far. But she's dragging bag after bag after bag. She's like,
and she's there for 2 days. Like, calm down, girl.
Yeah. But I mean, she made a good point. She's like, it's at the time of year when the weather is weird and it's super cold at night, but it's hot during the day. So like, what am I going to take and what do I need? And I'm like, you could just wear the same clothes like over and over again, right? Like it's 3 days and you're alone. Like,
Yeah,
bring
Nobody cares.
bring a blanket, girl. Like, that solves all your problems.
It is a challenge because it's no electricity, no gas, and no heat. I mean, so I'm sure she was like, I better have clothes that can like handle that because I'm gonna be kind of screwed.
I feel like I would be pretty good at that. As long as I have a book, I'm good.
Well, and I mean, technically she has electricity. It's like there's a sun panel on the roof, and so there is electricity. There's just she's off the grid, completely off the grid, and has to be careful with her water consumption and and make it last work.
When Soji shows up to his, because it's totally different. I think even totally different times they're recorded. It's just they juxtapose their two experiences the entire time. And two different houses too, so they're not even set up exactly the same.
His looks bigger than hers. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Maybe because he's bigger dude.
Like maybe they flipped a coin and he won the bigger house.
But he shows up. Didn't he show up in a snowstorm or something crazy, or was it raining? I don't remember. Like he had to trudge through some storm, like in the dark, to find this place.
Listen, he seems like he'd be down with that. Like,
he didn't really care that much. Nothing fazed him, of course. He's just like, okay, like he just, this is what I'm doing.
Sort of wondered, watching just the beginning part with the difference of what, she's basically going through her house and going like, it's so cute. Look at my little window and look at my little table and look at all that. Oh, it's so cute. And he's sort of like, yeah, here's my stuff. Okay, cool.
That's like a man versus woman.
It very much was.
Like she's trying to make the best out of this, and he's like, man, what it is?
Whatever.
What happened?
Well, what I kind of with it made me think of is, he's old enough. He's done his military service, right? He's past that. So what I kind of wondered is if part of him's like, like, I've been here, I've done this before. Like, it's not that big a deal. It's 2 days, not 2 years.
Yeah. And she's younger too, so I could see that. I could see him have gone camping before and not her. Not to say that she hasn't, but if I were to like guess, just make a little educated guess, that's what I would believe, that he is much more the outdoorsy type person. And it's like, okay, I'm here. This is cool. By myself. Get a little rest.
Oh, and the way they get instructions is through the computer. So, like, I think it's pretty much this little instant messenger thing that the production crew, like, tells them what to do. So that's kind of fun. So, like, when they had to get rid of stuff, it was just... So when she was asking questions, she was typing them out, like, so, can I keep this thing? And they're like, no.
But what if I... No. It was so cute. She was cute. She was quite adorable. In the section that I watched of it. I think I'll go back and probably watch more, I imagine, at some point. Now that I had a hard time getting into it. You guys were going like, let's do variety. And I was like, I've got so many dramas to watch and I just don't have the time to like waste on variety. But then once I was watching, I was like, oh,
like
this kind of variety, I can watch this and get other stuff done. Like, obviously not watch that and a drama, but like when I'm working on the computer, or like tonight I was making dinner and working in the kitchen and stuff, and I just had it in the corner, and while I'm washing the dishes or making dinner or whatever, it's just kind of there, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Glance over when you hear something happening, you like kind of look over and like, oh, and then you go back to thing.
Or it can like make you chill out. It could be a time when you're not really wanting to follow a narrative, really. Like, I find myself watching Coffee Friends and stuff when it's later in the night and I'm kind of ready for bed and I just don't really want to think about characters doing this, characters doing that. Like, I'd rather just, oh, look, nice things, like, and then you can just check out, and then when you're done, you can just stop midway and it's not a big deal. You don't feel like you have
really
to go
great
further.
About it. Because even though, like, the episodes tend to be longer, like, Hyori's Homestay is like an hour and 20 minutes long, but since it's not a drama or even like a variety show like Running Man, where like there's a place that you're gonna leave yourself in a cliffhanger and you can just like watch 20 minutes of it and then be like, okay, walk away and then come back, and then you're just in that same vibe, and then like it doesn't take you long to get back into what's going on, because not a lot has happened, and it's still the same tone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So I think I'll probably put them on a little more often. It's almost like listening to podcasts. Like visual podcasts almost. Like they can be on and you can still do stuff if you want to. Or they can be on and you can be paying attention without being like 100% fully engaged in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also found that like podcasts, the ones I enjoyed more were the ones where there were people interacting. So like I like Little House in the Forest, but like not as much as Coffee Friends or Hyori. Like I like those ones more because there's interaction between people. And I'm the same way with podcasts. Like I'd rather, I can't do the podcast where it's like one person talking about stuff the whole time. Like it just, I kind of phase out, like, and I'm not paying attention at all anymore. So I think I like people interacting with each other.
Well, that's good news for us since that's the way our podcast is.
Yeah.
and we actually, I mean, not from a variety show perspective, but we talked about that as we were coming up with our podcast idea in the first place, that we liked interaction. So that's why we went that way.
See, I also like, the ones more that where I like seeing, while I myself am a bit of a antisocial stay-at-home, I like watching people interact with one another. So like I'm the sort of person who likes going to a coffee shop and sitting there and eavesdropping on everyone around me while I'm pretending to listen to music on earbuds that are playing nothing. So like, this is sort of like that, but televised for you. So if you like people watching, this is like the perfect show.
You can gawk and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta learn to side eye. It can't be obvious with your people watching. Like you have to pretend to be doing something. Like have a book that you're fake turning the pages. Like I know all the tricks.
But with these shows, you don't have to do that. You can just watch. Exactly. You don't have to pretend to do anything if you don't want to. They don't care.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason Coffee Friends is so fun is the interactions between all of the workers, and usually if something gets stressful for them, the way they encourage each other, like that makes my heart all warm inside. And it's not just like, be better, guy. Like, I don't know. I think that Western people do that too. We're just not as open about it.
It's like those scenes where they'll go into like the dishwashing room and they'll be like, it's hard, isn't it? And then he'll just like hug him from behind and be like, you're doing a really great job. And then they all go back to work. And it's just like total non-toxic, just friendship, just love.
At one point he's like grinding the coffee beans and it's clearly taking a toll. It's hard work and he's just has to hand grind these stupid beans. And she's like, I could grind the beans while you're making the coffee. Like, let me do that for you. Let me just help you out. And he's like, oh, okay. And she's like, I mean, I got to figure it out. But like, there's no reason why I can't stand here and grind the beans for you. Like, you shouldn't have to make 50 cups of coffee.
I have to say this. My one criticism of their business model is that hand drip coffee was a bad idea.
Well, they fixed it.
One barista.
So they learn things as they go too, which I think is kind of interesting. Except for your other criticism is that they keep adding menu items and they make it hard on themselves.
Like it's unreal. Like it's getting too complicated.
It is getting too complicated.
Like they're just gonna end up quitting show business and being like running this cafe for the rest of their lives.
Good, because then when I actually get a chance to take a vacation in Jeju, they'll be there. For me.
I think it's really cool that, like, especially with cafe friends, the coffee friends, that it was something they were already doing anyways. Like, this is like the concept of the show is what the group of guys were doing. They just had a coffee truck that every month they would have it out for a couple days and were using it as a place to, get money for, charities. And then it stemmed from it. And this show even kind of has made it like more lucrative in terms of like generating more for charity.
I love that.
What I would love to see and would absolutely buy would be one of those like really beautiful like coffee table recipe book type, right?
Yeah.
Like,
On them.
and you could give the money to charity, guys.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I buy it.
You know?
Shoot.
Like, and all the different little recipes and things that they, you know, the tangerine tea and the jam and the, you know, all these things. I mean, get together with some of these other places, get together with Hyori and you know, these other different shows, and like have a whole sort of like beautiful pictorial recipe book of like variety show recipes and the beautiful people who make them. Like,
yeah. And it would do really well too, because it's such a destination for tourists that it could be, and like local people or local to Korea would be picking it up, and it's not just like just people who really love these people. It's like kind of a little like boost in the economy for Jeju too. So.
Yeah.
They should take our idea. We have good ideas.
We have such good ideas.
They should then pay us.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about charity. We can't get money out of this one.
I would hazard to say that my entire being is a bit of a charity.
I would hazard to say that everybody on the show is probably getting money as well. So
It seems likely. Yeah.
we're not asking for all of it.
Just some.
You know, just, you know.
Help our overhead costs.
Exactly.
At least a free book. At least.
Yeah, at least, right? Give me a free
autograph.
Autographs. Yes. Maybe
That-
an opportunity to like take a picture with them, you know. Be like,
we could
hey,
do
just
like
a trip there.
we
That's
could go
okay
there and
too.
do YouTube videos, and you know.
yeah.
Boost the economy more. There we
Yeah.
go.
We're here. We're willing to do this.
Call us. Well, we have a
We
but
want to help you.
message us.
Like, we're here for you.
We are here for you. That is why we have a podcast. We just feel like it is a service.
That we're
like a
providing
charity.
to the Korean entertainment industry that they're just unaware of at the moment.
For their international eyes, basically. We're in the inn. We know what's going on, and we can just relay that to people.
That's us.
Exactly.
For money.
Like, we're an untapped resource that, like, it could be tapping in a. No. I heard it as soon as I said it. Ah, yes.
Oh, don't even act like you don't think that's funny.
I do. I'm hilarious. What can I say?
So, do you think that we'll maybe do a food variety show podcast sometime? Is that what we've been maybe talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I'm really into variety shows, so I can talk about a lot more.
I watch a lot of variety shows. Like, variety shows are part of my mental health package because they make me feel good. So
They really do.
mm-hmm.
Between the two of us, I think we've got
extensive
knowledge.
Like, I wish I was kidding about this, but like before I had a family doctor and could get all drugged up, literally used Running Man as like an anti-panic attack show. Like, if I was feeling like super anxious and panicked, I'm like, gotta watch Running Man. And I would just go and put on an old episode of Running Man and just sit there watching it. So
it's really good. It really works.
It bizarrely really works.
I think it's because you just focus on it.
Yeah.
Helps me to like just relax and like, you know what I was thinking watching them? It's very Bob Ross. Like the ones that we're talking about today, a very Bob Ross.
I think that Bob Ross Joy of Painting is like the closest thing that Western TV has to this sort of show.
I think so.
That and Mr. Rogers. I mean, those are pretty much the
But see, like, Mr. Rogers was like a kid's show, so it's like sort of a different.
I hate to break it to you, but some adults still watch some Mr.
Well, I know,
Rogers.
but I mean, like, the purpose of it was for children, whereas the purpose of these shows is for adults.
Right.
They're sort of like the adult coloring book of the TV world.
Yeah.
Well, this has been another delightfully zen episode of our podcast, Certified Nuna. See, I put on my yoga voice for a minute. This has been another podcast, and we're glad that you came to listen to it and listen to us natter on for so long, as we always do. We're available wherever you're listening to us now, but also on YouTube, Spotify, the Apple iTunes, and Google Play. And we're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're not really on Facebook, though it does exist. We don't do anything with it, so don't bother. And we hope you have a very relaxing Zen week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.